What's going on, everybody? Mike Taylor, student physical therapist, here today to talk to you about the biggest mistake that I see people making when it comes to recovering from injuries. The biggest mistake that I see people making has nothing to do with exercise selection, it has something to do with program design. I'm going to get to that. It doesn't have anything to do with, which technique you're using. It has nothing to do with that. The biggest mistake that I see people making when it comes to recovering from injuries is that they are tempted way too early and way too often to test to see if the pain is still there. As an example, let's say that you have a low back injury. You hurt your back while you were squatting. This is something super common, happens to a lot of people. Okay, so let's say you have this injury and it hurts when you low bar back squat anything more than the bar. So even getting up to using the bar is painful. So that has been established as your limit right now, okay? It hurts when you squat the bar, 45 pounds. So what do you do in the meantime? You do things that are sub-threshold. So in that time, you could be doing things like body weight squats, like single leg work, like leg press, stuff that you found that doesn't aggravate your pain. It's sub-pain threshold here. So what ends up happening, and this is where the mistake comes in, is that people are, recovering from their injury, things are feeling pretty good. So what do? They say, I'm gonna do a heavy single to see if it's still there. And let me just tell you, if you're suspicious, if you have to see if the pain is still there, I would put money on the fact that it's probably still going to be there. And what have you gained from that? You do not benefit from that at all, okay? You don't benefit from checking to see if the pain's still there. What's the best case scenario that happens if it isn't there? You did a heavy single and it wasn't painful. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna keep pushing it until it does hurt. And eventually you're gonna end up being in pain again. And what happened to all that progress you were making beforehand? Well, that goes out the window. It's gone now. You have to start back over again, and this time with decreased confidence, probably with some increased pain, and you're at a greater risk for re-injuring yourself later. So don't do this, okay? That is the biggest mistake that people make. And here is how you can avoid making that mistake yourself. So it's pretty similar. In fact, it's exactly the same thing to when somebody's doing, a strength building program, and halfway through they test their max just to see what their strength is like, just to see if it's still there. And why do this? You don't benefit from it. It's not going to make you stronger, and it might have actually just thrown off the entire training cycle. The same can be said for recovering from an injury. Let's go back to that example again, okay? So you're able to squat 45 pounds now, all right? You've progressed through your rehab plan well enough that you're able to squat 45 pounds. What should you do at that point? You should be stoked, because now it does not hurt to squat anymore. It does not hurt to squat. You've proven that to yourself. You can squat 45 pounds. That is a win right there. What you should do is now you should recognize, cool, squatting is back on the menu now. I can now use the barbell squat as a tool for getting stronger, for driving my pain threshold up, so that when I do want to test again later, much later, I'm not gonna end up, hurting myself again. What you can do then is you can start incorporating the bar into your work. And then before you know it, you'll be building it up. You'll be doing 65, 85, 100 pounds, 135, whatever your numbers are, you'll be increasing it by doing things that were sub pain threshold. This is exactly how strength training works in the first place, right? So, whereas before, on day one, it may have hurt you to do an 85-pound squat. Well, you didn't have to touch 85 pounds to get to the point that you can do 85 pounds without it hurting, right? Because you worked in the sub-threshold ranges. The same thing you do when you're using sub-maximal work to get stronger. You're driving your 1RM up without testing it. The parallels here are honestly endless, but the big thing is you need to be committed to a plan early on, and you need to be disciplined to that plan, okay? You need to set goals that are realistic and that are logical, and things that go in sequence, okay? You can't go from, I wanna be able to squat the bar pain-free, to I'm gonna squat 600 pounds. It's not gonna happen. But there are a lot of mini goals along the way. You have to consider hitting those mini goals first before you go on to that. So the big thing here is that you aren't jumping ahead. You're not, looking at your neighbor's paper, because you can't rush these things. If you're injured, it's going to take time for it to get better. No matter what the injury is, how long it'll take, and the specifics of all that, that's honestly between you, how you got hurt, what got hurt, all sorts of factors. I can't tell you how to do that. But what I can tell you is it's probably not gonna be better by tomorrow, just because you had one good day where it didn't hurt you to sit down, didn't hurt you to sneeze, So it's not like it's just gone now. It's gonna take time, and you aren't going to benefit from pushing past where you should go on that day. Think of every day as an opportunity to get a little bit better, and over time, those little victories are gonna snowball into much bigger victories that you can then utilize to just, keep pushing forward. And before you know it, you'll probably find that your pain threshold that was once, pretty low, say like 135 pounds or something like that. You couldn't squat more than 135 but without, collapsing to the ground in agony. Well, before you know it, you're gonna be doing 135 for working sets, because now your threshold is up to 200 pounds. And then 200 pounds is gonna be easy. And then 300, etc. It goes on and on and on, but you did not have to touch the weight that hurt you to get there. What if you just wanna you feel good, so you wanna push it? Be my guest. I can't tell you what to do, but what I can tell you is that your threshold at which you got hurt is probably not gonna be different this time around. If you hurt yourself squatting 600 pounds the first time, well, when you get up to 600 pounds again, it's probably gonna hurt again. There's no secrets to any of this, okay? The way we adapt to stress is not that much of a mystery. The way that you get better is by progressively exposing yourself to stress. That is it, and time. Those two things. If you do those two things, you can and will recover. The best advice I can give you: set goals, create a plan, follow that plan, and there you go. That's it. If you do those things, I'm fairly certain that you will be more successful than if you would just try to push back as quickly as you possibly could, because that's just not the way that things work. So thank you everybody for watching, and as always, happy training.